Fabien, thank you so much for your time. We're super excited that you agreed to sit down with us and play through your game and talk a little about the process and just everything that went into this. Before we get into it, how has the year been for you? 2020 and COVID have drastically changed how people are making games, but how was it for you?
Yeah, okay. First, thank you very much for having me. For me it's tonight, but and I'm really glad to be here today. And well, actually it's funny because it's kind of because of COVID that I started this game. Because I turned out I had a little bit more time because I was working from home, no commuting, and I took this opportunity, to invest this time in finally starting a new game, a new project, which was Haven Park. So it was a bad thing, but I tried to make it at least positive for something.
Right, I don't know that I got much done during the pandemic, and you made an entire game. So I think that just says a lot about your work ethic and whatnot. If you want, you can hit us off. You can hit play and take us through any little quirks or levels. We got our hands on it before, but we wanted you to take our audience through it. Could you talk a little bit about that process that you mentioned earlier about the lockdown and working through making this game during the pandemic?
Yeah, so I started the project, I think it was February 2020. So just before the first lockdown here. And it was just after I finished playing a short hike, which is beautiful. I don't know if you played it. It's an awesome game, and I was really inspired by this game, and I was really on my thinking, hey, if one guy can do that, maybe I can try to do that too. And I decided to start to go on a small adventure and try to make my own game. And when the lockdown started, I decided to, instead of just losing time or just don't being pessimistic about that, let's try to do something positive and let's try to finally make something. And that's how I started to do this game. And I work part-time for an animation studio, but I have one day per week where I can work on my own projects, and that's how I started to work on the Haven Park. So every Friday I would spend the whole day working on this project, the evening, the weekends too. And after I think 1,000 hours, the game was ready.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Wow. I mean, wow. I mean, so you created this game all by yourself, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, bravo.
Thank you so much.
I'm getting inspired. Just talking with you. And
that's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly extremely impressed, with the work you've done. I know, as a solo developer, one of the biggest challenges is project planning, right?
Yeah.
So I was actually wondering if you could describe, what were some of the tools or methods you used to plan and design Haven Park? Because every time I try to develop something, I feel like I have a million ideas in my head, and I just don't know how to process all those ideas. So.
Right.
Yes, yeah, I feel you. It was the same. At the beginning, I had all the path, all the doors were open. You can go in every direction. You can do what any kind of game you want. But at some point, you have to decide. You have to make a decision and do okay, I'm going to do a top-down view game, or I'm going to do an action adventure game. And I think that's the most difficult, is to make this decision and knowing that you can't necessarily go back, because you have to commit to this idea, otherwise you never finish anything. And that's the biggest challenge, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to trust your vision, to trust your idea, and go with it, and just believe in your first ideas.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I feel like, one of the biggest things that like so like even, sole developers or even, small teams, it's like that dedication to really stick to your decisions, right? Like to
Right.
just commit to that idea and just
Mm-hmm.
run along with it and have complete faith in it.
Yes, yes.
Because yeah, you're right. Otherwise, it's like, oh no, you know what? I don't really like how that came out. So you go back and you redo it again, and you end up just kind of going into this loop, and you never finish, right?
Yeah, and that's extremely unmotivating because you start like construction sites all the way, and
Yeah.
you never complete them. And yeah, it's unmotivating. So the best advice I could give is to go, don't stop actually, and just go for it. Even if you're not 100% sure at the beginning and you have doubts, just go for it.
I hope that at the end of my doubts, I have like a video game made, because it's so tough to just think through and be like, yeah, I trust this. This is a legitimate idea, and validating those ideas too. And sometimes being the only person to do that is so challenging.
Yeah.
Earlier you talked about Short Hike and Animal Crossing, which are also really great and really just cozy and relaxing games, and I think considering the times are really necessary games.
Yeah.
How did you work on making Haven Park though uniquely your own? That it's still being influenced from some of these titles, but again, you're putting your own stamp, your own personality on it. How did you like navigate that so you weren't doing too much Animal Crossing, too much Short Hike, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a very good question, because at some point I was afraid that I was too close either from of Haven Park, of a Short Hike or Animal Crossing, and I really didn't want to make just a copy and make my own game with its own, charm and little stories. I mean, to put myself in it, and I think it comes quite naturally after some time, because the more time you spend on your project, the more yourself you put into the project, and as we are all different, the project will naturally become a bit of you, and a bit different, because you put a little bit of your personality into it.
And it sounds so. It just sounds so naturally a part of the creative process. I'm a writer, so when Richard and I are looking at like the game development side of things, I'd be thinking about the story. I'd be thinking about like the world building and whatnot. And if you just sit down in front of a blank document long enough, yourself comes out. Like your own ideas and the things from the inside, in a very organic way, like you're saying. And it's clear. It's so clearly distinct from these other titles that when you say like Haven Park and Short Hike and Animal Crossing, they're all distinct and they're all really pleasing. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah. I also wrote some scenarios because, as I said, I also work for an animation studio, and I had the chance to work on an animated series, to be the author of an animated series, and so I also write some stories, and it's sometimes really difficult to find yourself in front of this white page, and you're like, okay, from nothing I have to create something.
Right.
It's intimidating, I would say, even.
And it's in that necessary struggle that you create. It's almost just like the fight of your life. You have to survive. I mean, not to be melodramatic, but when you're sitting in front of something and you have a deadline to meet, stuff comes out, and and sometimes it really does work.
Yeah, no, I mean, touching on this topic on like creation, I'm actually curious to know, because Haven Park has a lot of different systems interacting with each other, right? So I was curious to know about during the development of Haven Park, which system did you enjoy designing the most?
Good question. I think it was the dialogue system, because I wanted to use some of the existing solutions. I don't remember the names, but there are quite a lot of of packages you can use in Unity to create dialogue systems easily, like Nodal and everything. But I wanted to try something and to make my own syntax for dialogues and make my own like language to write dialogues with choices and everything. And I found that really interesting to do. So I would say that was one of the most interesting aspects of it.
I see. Actually, I'm actually curious. So did you, because I know you talked about that you had done like an animated short. So I know you have like some background with like animation and like, art. Like, did you have any prior programming experience before making Haven Park?
Yes, yeah. I actually have a company that develops software. We created it with some friends from school, and but it's for web development. It's a JavaScript, but that really helps to know the logic and everything. And from that, it was easier to learn C#. And yeah, that was a huge help for me. I think otherwise I would have spent much more time to creating a game from scratch.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's the beauty about learning one programming language is there's a lot of similarities, right, across
Yes.
many different programming languages. So it's easier to pick up, and learn different languages and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. You know what to look for when you're stuck on something. You know what kind of answer you need to search.
I was just talking. We were just talking about those other titles that helped, guide your imagination for Haven Park. But besides those games, like, what helped you formulate and ground this narrative and the little backstories that like the other hikers and campers have, and the little backstory that the main character has? What helped you get to that point? Because like being out in nature, you have to find something to do, right? You can't just be walking around. What helped you flesh out this story?
I think it went also naturally. Actually, at the beginning, one of the first version of the game, it was completely different. You had no campsites. The map was a bit similar, but there was no campers, no campsites, no construction aspect, but there was a storyline a bit more how to say, obvious. And it was about a meteor that crashed into the mountains, and you needed to understand what happened there, because there was some weird events, like blue stones into the valley, and with something a bit more mystical. And I didn't feel like it was the right direction. So I didn't follow that path, and I went a little bit back, and decided to go for a more not casual, that's not the word, but a more natural and just feel good game without too much of a storyline to follow. And there is a storyline here, but it's less obvious.
And I think casual does work, but in the sense of that laid back, like a casual feeling, like a mood, as opposed to this sort of negative connotation that the word casual might have today. But it is much more laid back and not even restrained, but relaxed. So you don't have too heavy a backstory to follow, like you said, and it fits this game and this genre quite smoothly.
Yeah, I wanted to have a story. If you want to follow the story, it's so important to have it, of course, to have a story. But also I wanted to have just a small game to spend time and just chill inside without having any pressure to fulfill any quests or you can follow your own rhythm.
Right.
Oh no, not enough coins.
Yeah, and this game is just completely immersive. Like when I was playing around with it, being able to just go around and kind of construct, and build the campsite, is really it's really fun, to be able to like design, the park as you want, right?
Yeah.
And obviously there's just so much to think about when you're designing a game like Haven Park, right? Because there's so many different
Yes.
elements. Did you have any advice or experience that you brought along with you to create Haven Park? And what was the most valuable lesson you learned in developing a game like Haven Park?
Good question. So for the most valuable thing I learned, I think it was to I think it's a bit what I said before, like really commit to an idea and don't always come back and hesitate on your choices. That's difficult, and that was how I could actually finish the game. Otherwise, it would be still a work in progress. But also get people involved in the game early. People first the close circle of friends or family to have feedbacks from people that just discovered the game, because this kind of game it's really difficult to keep to have a step how to say to keep a fresh
Right.
vision. Because of course I know the map, I know everything, but I don't know at this point what does the player who played only 1 hour, what does he know about the map? Will he know how to find yellow fields, for example? For me it's obvious where it is, but for most people it's not, and that impacts a lot of the choices about where to put the direction signs, how precise the map should be, how explicit how descriptive the dialogues must be. So it was really important for me to find people that could, give me constructive feedbacks, and always people new to the project that discover the project at any steps of the development. It's really important too.
Yeah, I
To
didn't
have
even.
fresh blood, in the project.
Yeah. I mean, I never honestly even thought about that. Like, because you're absolutely right. When you design a game, you know where everything is. And so kind of like, replay your game, like it's kind of hard to get that fresh, experience that, other people who've never played your game can give you. So, that's really great, lesson, that you learned. Because, I mean, yeah, I find myself doing that all the time. I'm like, okay, I know where everything is, so like, what can I do to change that? But yeah, feedback is definitely really important.
And when you're doing the tests, people test the game, they're doing stuff you're absolutely you're like, what are you doing that? It's not supposed to be like
Oh
that.
my gosh!
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
The speedrunners are gonna cut through this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually already a speedrun about Haven Park.
Oh, wow.
I saw that yesterday. Someone on the Discord joined us and asked me if there was still a glitch available, and he managed to finish the game in under 6 minutes.
Oh wow!
Oh no! Oh boy. Speaking of which, is this a genre that you feel comfortable in? Like your next title might be closer to this, or maybe stuff that you add to this might still be, in the realm of this genre, or are you planning to like branch out, like maybe turn Haven Park into, I don't know, like a BR, like a battle royale or something, or do you just feel is this like a more of a comfort zone?
You mean for a future game?
Yeah.
Or
for anything you're looking at in the future.
Yeah, that's actually a very good question, because of course now that I have it's not completely finished because I continue to do updates on the game, but now that the project is mainly done, I'm starting to think about what's coming next, and what kind of game I want to do. do I want to stay in this kind of comfort zone or try different styles? I think I'm going to change a little bit. I'm not going to do like a too serious game because that's really not my kind of. I can't easily write more easily write humorous things
Right.
than too serious, dramatic. That's really not my cup of tea.
So
But
we can anticipate a cozy game, relaxed like battle royale then from you in the future.
yes.
Yeah, no, but you're right. If you have like a niche and you have like a rhythm that you've established, I mean, why not branch out a little bit, but still know what your strengths are.
Yeah.
And I think now would be a good time to just talk us through like what's going on, or at least for people just seeing this for the first time or hearing about it. Who's our character? What are you currently doing besides just picking up like pieces of metal and fabric?
Yes.
What's going on in your game right now?
Yeah, sure. So the goal of the game is to help your grandma, Flint. That's the main character's name. Grandma to help maintain the park. So that means repairing stuff, find all the campsites, and bring people in by building things. And there is a main storyline where the grandma tells you to find her at Turtle Rock, and you need to go there. And to go there, you have to go this way. By the way, you have to take this cable car here. And then when you arrive there, you need to follow another path that leads to Pilgrim's Peak, which is the place where you will meet the grandma, and basically where the story ends. But then you can continue create the camps, take care of everything. So it's not finished at that point.
Okay. Do you have any like I don't know if it's already in it or if you plan on putting it, but like developers often put little surprises or little secrets or things that gamers might not come across until like years later or something. But
Yeah.
is that in the game? I mean, you don't have to reveal them, but I'm curious if you had put little things
Yeah,
in there like that.
We tried to. When I say we, it's because I didn't mention them, but it's really important to mention Munai Studio because they joined the project in April to help me publishing the game, and they were really great about that, and also about bringing more ideas into the game. So that's why I said we, because they also brought a lot of their experience, their ideas, and small things to discover, small things to improve the quality of life. I mean, I'm really happy that I decided to go with them and continue this adventure with this team. So yeah, we decided to put some of small Easter eggs, things like that. There are even cheat codes if you can find them. Good luck.
Nice. Nice,
Oh wow.
wow.
And we plan to add more elements. For example, for Christmas, Halloween, special
seasonal, yeah.
Seasonal, exactly. Yeah,
Oh man, and it's just so awesome the way the weather changes. I love how the water looks too in this game. Water constantly gets a lot of flack, a lot of criticism in a lot of different games. But for an indie game, the way that the water works and its physics, it looks really gorgeous, and it fits again the overall themes. Like it's thematically in line with what you're building here.
I try to keep it simple because I tend to add too much shaders when I do a 3D images or stuff like this, or just for animations, to make it too much realistic. So I had to refrain myself and keep it really simple because as you said, it matched the style of the game. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm quite happy with it. It's never easy to make a water shader.
It's funny because speaking of the water, I remember the first time I was playing this game, I like went to the shore and I was just like staring at the water. I'm like, this looks so beautiful. Like
Thank you.
I was just like completely mesmerized. And actually, it's you know one thing that I love about video games in general is like at least from like when you're developing, you never really know what what are the things that uh people love about your game and like things that they just constantly like just I don't know just keep doing and like one
Mhm.
of the things that I find myself doing a lot when I'm playing this game is just spamming the button so he says pew pew
Yes.
pew pew. I love it. I love it. I don't know why. It's like just so adorable and just so much fun. Like you know, because like you're traveling, you know, across the map, and so like it's almost like you know, just telling yourself, you know, sing a little song to yourself, you know, like
Yes.
I'll remix it too, like pew 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 pew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's so that's such a cool feature, you know? It's
I
something
had a I had an advice to add a cooldown for the pew, but no.
No,
You
yeah,
can
never.
spam
no.
it.
We,
Yeah, no, for sure. The pew pew is like just hilarious. It's funny. It's definitely, you know, and it's so crazy because like it's a little mechanic in the game, right? That's like, you know, for a developer, it's like, oh, it's a simple, you know, mechanic,
Mhm.
but it's it's sometimes you find them like a lot of the beautiful things in games end up being like the simple things, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's true.
So I love the pew pew. I'm never gonna like stop spamming that.
I'm glad you brought that up, Rich, because it reminds me of we were talking to the developers for a game called Path of Kami, which another like really beautiful indie game, and the
Mm-hmm.
main character is a dog, and when it's in its idle position, it'll like sit or like lay down or yawn.
Yeah.
And so little things like
Mm-hmm.
that, like Rich was talking about with the pew, it's just a natural, I don't even want to call it a quirk, but just something that we do, just things that humans enjoy.
Yeah.
We don't like to sit idle and have nothing happen, but for something
Yeah.
that organic and that natural and that fun and silly to be utilized in that way makes the game engaging.
Yeah, it adds so much life to the game.
Absolutely.
It's these small details that really can change the mood of a game. So you need to keep an eye on the big picture, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but these small additions, they can really change how a game is at the end.
At the end of the day, Fabien, what are you ultimately hoping that fans can take away from this game and from your your story about this game and its development?
I think it's just to relax a little bit because we had difficult times, difficult year,
Mm.
stressful, and I think people need to just chill a little bit, just relax and think about something else. Just relax and not worry about the problems, the everyday life problems. So that's really my hope for people that play the game is they can just enjoy the game without thinking too much about the the current troubles that could have. Yeah.
Right, just take it easy, chill out. Whatever match
Yeah.
you lost in Warzone or in Apex Legends, it's all right. Just take it easy and go on a camping trip and relax. I love games like this, especially with this hyper competitive environment we're in right now in the gaming world. It's super nice to just have something like this to come to when you are overwhelmed and you are stressed. So
Mhm.
again, it's a really beautiful and thoughtful game. We appreciate it. We appreciate talking to you. Where can gamers, fans, listeners, where can they find you, your work? Where can they download and play Haven Park?
Sure. So Event Pack is actually available on Steam and on Switch too. So if you have a Switch, you should grab a copy on the Nintendo eStore. And it's also available on Mac and Linux if you're not a PC or a Switch person.
Fabian, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
We
you.
really
Oh yeah.
appreciated it. This is a really beautiful game. Richard and I
Thank you
couldn't
so
stop
much.
talking about how we were like, yo, one person did this?
Bro,
How?
I am
Huh?
inspired and it's
Uh-huh.
you know, one of the things that I'm going to take away from this interview is, you know, exactly what you hoped fans can take away is just, you know, to not worry about, you know, all the things that may be going on in life, like, because I immediately think about, you know, I have a full-time job and I also want to create a game and I also want to learn a new programming language, and I just feel like with all the things that go on in life, it can be overwhelming. But I
Yes.
look at this game and I say, you know what? If Fabian could do it, I mean, I could do it, Like, definitely an inspiration, man.
Oh, that's cool. That's exactly why I wanted to do this. So thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
Thanks so much
awesome.
again for your time. We appreciate it, and this won't be the last time we talk. We know for sure the projects you have coming up will definitely be looking out for updates, and I'll be reaching out again.
Cool.
100%.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you for this interview. And yeah, just wanted to say that the indie gaming community is really great, and I'm really thankful for all the support I had.
Y'all are rock stars, Fabien. Thank you again. Wishing you nothing but success, and we look forward to talking to you again.